Peacock 45 here. Something a little different. We haven't shown you a knife for quite a while, so we thought we would talk to you about some Bowie knives that I have, many of which you have seen, and some I use more than others. Okay, always a stick around to chop on, right? Yeah, I enjoy big knives. You know, it's one of my weaknesses. I have a lot of weaknesses, don't I? And it occurred to me, John and I were talking about it recently. Yeah, I've got some pretty cool Bowie knives that I think people have not seen them. I enjoy seeing, and so that's why we're here. I had to go through the same thinking process. Which ones would I give up? Which one would I keep if I had to give them all up? If knives became illegal, you're allowed to have one good knife, one big knife. I just always liked Bowie knives. I was a friend of Jim Bowie's, and you know, met him at the Alamo, right? No, so I've got, these are mostly kind of in the category of a Bowie knife. A couple of exceptions we'll talk about, but I wanted to bring these out because they're the closest thing, and just go through that thinking process, because I use some of these, and a couple of them at least, and could use any of them. I just always like big knives. I do a lot of hacking around, and we've done some videos on these where I clear trails. When I go out hiking, I'm as likely to take this or an axe, tomahawk type axe, small axe, or others, big knives and machetes, just to keep the trails clear, because they're constantly growing down into the trail. And so just something I've done for 30 years here or more. And plus I appreciate all the help we get. So here we go. Which of these would I give up? Which ones would I keep? Which one would I keep? Well, let's show you what I've got here. If you're new, actually we've done videos on 2 or 3 of these, I guess, and we drag them out sometimes just for table decoration, various videos. This was made by Idaho Knife Works, their symbol there. I think they might still be in business, not sure. I bought this in the year 2000, and this is the, what was it called, the San Francisco Bowie, I believe, and I requested them to make a bigger one. I think their standard version of it was a little smaller, and I wanted it with a little bit longer blade and a bigger handle, and I've always liked that. So I've had that for about 21 years, 22 years, whatever. Pretty cool and beautiful stag handle. You know, that stuff has gotten so expensive now and hard to find in a lot of ways. So I like that one. It's not been a knife I use a lot. I just really like it. So kind of a different Bowie. And then this is my old Trailmaster. I use this all the time. Cold steel. It's the old one with carbon 5 steel in it, and I bought it in the late 80s. And I just used it, and you can tell. I took it on a hike just yesterday, I guess, day before. It's easy to carry. It's not too heavy. Look at the thickness of that blade, and I resharpen it, and it's one that I sharpen, of course, and keep sharp. And it's great. It's the one I was hacking with, and that's what I use it for all the time. This is the old, oh boy, Von Timsky. You know, I guess John and I both have one, and I've let mine get kind of weird on it. I had to kind of work on it. They're really prone to rust. You're going to keep them oiled up. But big old knife, like a hatchet. Great knife for around the farm. We've used that one. I don't know that I've sharpened it yet, resharpened it, but that's like having a hatchet. Big, heavy. Look at the thickness on that blade. So that's a cool knife. You know, again, kind of a weakness, and that's kind of a no frills, just a serious working, heavy-duty knife. I've always liked that. Well, since we bought them, what, 2 or 3 years ago or longer. Then this is my Puma Hunter, or not Hunter, but Bowie knife. And that number might mean something to some of you, 6376, handmade. I bought that in 1974. So I've had that a while, right? Yeah. Really nice. I've not sharpened it, done anything to it. I just try to keep it clean and from rusting. And, you know, none of these are stainless. These are all carbon steel. And so, you know, they'd be all rusted up if you're not taken care of. And I do keep them in leather sheaths sometimes, but I pull them out and wipe them down with a ballistol and a rag, you know. So I've not had any rust. Other than this one, ironically, I think most of that was done when it was out of the sheath. Or maybe, I don't know. But this is Jimmy Lile knife. This is one John got me for Christmas this year. So this one I've not had very long. Big old Bowie knife, right? That's a no dot Lile, so that means it was made before he died, at 91, something, early 90s. And so that is extra cool. And it really is. You won't find one of those around every day. Big old, I think it's called a Crown Stag, the Crown Stag Bowie. So that is a very nice knife. It has a very thick blade, but not too thick. That big blade weighed 18 pounds if you had it too thick a blade, like this Randall Smithsonian model. If it was that thick, I might not be able to pick it up. But we skipped. Now this is just, this is not really a Bowie knife, I guess, but it's kind of got that drop point, a blade similar to that. This was, I forget what this is called. It's a Randall, maybe a fighting knife or fighting Bowie, something like that. Some of y'all that know. Got that several years back. I just brought it out, I ran across it, I was getting these out. I said, that's kind of a Bowie knife. Most of the Bowie knives, really, of the day were not gigantic. Some were, I think, but a knife like this was actually handier and more commonly carried, probably. And so that's just a neat knife. Maybe it shouldn't be out here. It's okay. I can do what I want, right? This is the Randall Smithsonian, and this is a hoss. I've had this for, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years or so. And that is, I thought it was the ultimate Bowie knife, really, the ultimate Bowie knife. And it comes close, right? It may be. But I mean, that is a hoss. The blade is thicker than 1/4 of an inch, right? Which maybe it's, 5/8, 9/16 is my math correct on that? I think it's just a little bit thicker than 1/4 of an inch. And man, that is a stud, that thing. And they call it the Smithsonian. There's one like it in the Smithsonian. Maybe it's the same knife, but it's or like that, like the one that was used in the Iron Mistress that Jim Bowie carried in that movie. Big old Bowie knife. And then now this one probably shouldn't be out here. It's more of a hunting knife, but I ran across it too. The Wade Blatt. I've not had that too long. I like Puma knives, and that is just a neat. I just always thought that was a neat knife. I wanted one of these back in the 70s or something. I couldn't afford it. It was just, they were high back then even. Yeah, it was just a neat knife. I like, kind of like in some ways, the Puma Hunter. But big old thick blade, just really neat. And really, you can get right down to it. If you're going to carry a big knife like this, for my purposes, I don't plan to be in a fight with them. With any of these. They're kind of a tool, and they're just collectible and interesting. And this one will do anything that like this one will do out on the trail. I've thought about just going ahead and using it. In fact, because you got that extra weight, you could drive a nail. So that's kind of designed. You almost have a hammer back there. It gets thicker up there, and you get that wide part. It's just really neat. But it's a hunting knife. It's Wade Blatt, I think, means hunter, German, I guess. But it's a word for hunter or hunting knife, that kind of thing, as I understand. So, but maybe it shouldn't be out here, but I like it. It's kind of the same size category, and I like it. So it's one that I have had hard time giving up really any of these. And that's just like with the firearms videos we do. Now this is definitely not a Bowie knife style, but it's a hunter. It's called a hunter, I think, that Jimmy Lile made, and I had that made back in 1976. That was my first really nice knife, premium custom-made knife, and I remember ordering it, and I guess it was either early 76 or it was 75, and I got it in 76. It was my bicentennial present to myself. And it was over like $110 or $15 by the time it was done, and that was a lot of money back then, especially for a poor dumb school teacher, right? So that's always been a really special knife to me. Okay, so if I had to choose, I don't know. And again, just a quick little lesson on the Bowie knife. I think in one of these videos, maybe it's on the Smithsonian we did, I don't know. A lot of that some of it's myth, some of it's not. As I understand, Jim Bowie's involved in a real serious scuffle on Sandbar Island, I guess on the Mississippi River, in 1827, I believe it was a year. And he got shot and he got stabbed several times, and he survived it. But he was given a knife, was it by his brother? It was a big butcher knife kind of thing, and it was a little bit thicker than the average butcher knife, as I understand. And so it was, kind of in like a meat cleaver, big knife. And maybe probably wasn't as thick as one of these. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was more like that, but probably not that thick either. But it was a big knife and a little bit heavier maybe than normal. And he used that fairly successfully in knife fighting. Back in 1827, like, you know, I don't like the thought of having to fight with a knife at all. I think that's pretty repulsive to most of us to have to do that. You do what you have to do to stay alive or protect your family and everything, but I'd rather use a gun. But in 1827, you know, the firearms choices were mostly flintlock, smoothbore handguns, maybe highly unreliable and one shot, and yeah, and you know, one of these babies is, you know, was very commonly carried for self-defense, right? And people knew how to use them. So anyway, so the knife had a different purpose. A big knife had more of a purpose back then, not just like you or I might carry for whatever you just want to cut something. Like, you know, I couldn't live without one in my pocket to pull out and work on something. But back then, you know, I'd been the same way. You know, just like in the single shot muzzleloader era, you're in the mountains, you get one shot, Mr. Grizz comes along or whatever, or you're attacked. I would just kind of like to have something like this on my belt. It would always be loaded and be a few extra shots, which maybe it could help you survive before you get that muzzleloader reloaded. So anyway, so the Bowie style and design covers a wide range. I understand. As I understand, there's no single, like, this is not the absolute pattern for the ultimate Bowie knife. You know, it had to be a 9-inch blade and look exactly. I don't think there's something like that. I think Bowie knives, it was the fact that he used the knife, and that was a really famous story, that big scuffle and fight he got into, so it was just famous for, like, if it was a fighting knife, people probably like to think this is a Bowie knife, a John Wayne gun, you know, that kind of thinking. So, but it was a bigger knife than normal, all right? And so I think that definition has swept across lots of different styles and everything. But I think the drop point like that is kind of what it was close to, and effective. And there are probably different designs in it. So anyway, let's get back to this topic here. Okay, so which one would I give up? Well, which one would I keep? Okay, I've told you what I have here. Let me go through a process of elimination. All right, like I said, I like this knife. I don't plan to be in a lot of fights, and for my purpose, whether I use it or not. Now, some of these have never been used to hack with, but that's kind of what I think about. Just like I use this one or this one, that's what I would use these others if I wanted to use them. Okay, I'm not going to use them for self-defense, I hope. I would use them around the place and hack limbs and that kind of thing. All right, beyond their collector's appeal, everything. So, obviously the Lile there, that's not really part of it. So I would eliminate that one. It's a nice fighting knife. And this one, I'm talking about which one would I keep, of course. That's a neat knife, but I would put it over here. I like that knife. It gets harder. I like all of these. I like this one. You know, it wouldn't be my last one to give up, okay? But it's a really neat knife. I love the rusticness of it. It's really cool. I've always liked that. And it was made to my specs, more or less. This one I really like, but it's probably not the best knife out here. And these others would serve the same purpose, right? It may not be quite as handy, but I'd probably give up. You can replace this without any trouble also. Okay, it's a Trailmaster. They still make them, maybe different steel, but they're still made. And you could find these too, you know, around exactly like this. In fact, I think I have a duplicate somewhere. So those are nice knives. Don't want to give them up. This one, oh man, that's my hatchet. But I couldn't keep that and give up any of those three, right? I just couldn't do that. So let's put it over there. All right, so we're down to 3. Oh boy, are those nice knives. And they definitely are Bowie knives. It's in the title, it's in the name. This is a Bowie knife. Definitely, it's got it right on there. This is a Bowie knife. This is the, like I said, the Crown Stag Bowie by Jimmy Lile, Arkansas knifesmith. And of course the Randall, Smithsonian Bowie. So what do you do? Man, this one has sentimental value. This has a little sentimental value too. John got it for me. This one doesn't have sentimental value, but I do like it a lot. Boy, that thing could be your hatchet, your fighting knife. And are you going to break that blade? Well, like I say, I don't plan to be in a knife fight. I hope I don't ever have to do that. I'm gonna put it over there. That's pretty cool. And I'm partial to stag handles, you know, if I have a choice. All right, so I've got two beautiful knives, stag handles. They both have some sentimental value. And, you know, 1974 was a long time ago. I wasn't quite as smart as I am now. You know, it was a long time ago. I might have even been a real dummy in 94. And this knife, oh man, Jimmy Lile, what a special knife maker. And to be a no dot, you know, made before he died, that's really special. And it really is. And that's one I definitely could not have afforded back in the day. I don't know what those sold for back, you know, to order one of those. Even when I ordered that other Lile knife, wow, that would have probably been, you know, $600, even in early 70s. I don't know. But that's one of his crown jewels, I guess. The, no pun intended, you know, the stag, crown stag. So, without further ado, I just obviously could not let this Jimmy Lile Bowie go. So you'll accuse me of being sentimental because John gave it to me. Even if I just found this on the road, and that is neat that John gave it to me. But even if I had just bought it myself or found it or stolen it from one of you, you know, broken into your house, whatever, this would be my choice if I had to give up all my Bowie knives. How could I give up this Jimmy Lile no dot Bowie knife over any of those? You know, I just couldn't do it. I mean, that thing, boy, the balance and the feel of that thing is like Till Sackett with that grip, and just a gorgeous knife. And it looks like it ought to weigh about 18 pounds, but you know, and it has got heft obviously, but it feels good. And since it's my final choice, it's my keeper, we should stab something, don't you think? How about the target first? Now don't let me slip and fall and stab myself on film. Okay, so you want to hold it now? Bullseye! Look at that, there was no cardboard behind that, it was shot out. Let's stab Buds and Sansa Central, Ballastol, Fallon Grips, SDI, Federal. Yeah, let's stab Hickok 45. All right, I'm sober, I promise. Oh boy, I hate to get pumpkin juice on it, but you know, we've got to do that, don't we? Let's just stab this pumpkin. We found this pumpkin still intact after all these months. All right, maybe it'll fall, maybe it won't. Look at that. Let's stab it on in further. Nice. Let's hack it. Oh man. It's sharp. Now I ruined my Jimmy Lile knife. I got pumpkin juice on it. I'll get back up there and soak it in Ballastol in about 10 seconds after you all leave. So anyway, that's a beautiful. Let's do it before you all leave, because I don't want your last look at this to. Where's that? Yeah, I had a rag in my pocket. Yeah, I don't want your last look at these beautiful knives to be that. Oh man, that was a crime, wasn't it? That was a crime, getting pumpkin juice, pumpkin flesh on this beautiful knife. Yeah, it'll clean up just like a muzzle loader, look like a new one. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I want to keep the winter cleaned up. Okay, so anyway, the Jimmy Lile Crown Stag Bowie knife. And it is Bowie. If you hear me say Bowie, maybe I'm talking about the rock star. It's Bowie. Maybe his name is Bowie. I don't know. What do I know? But anyway, this is my final choice. If you're not familiar with Jimmy Lile, what's wrong with you? The Arkansas knifesmith made beautiful knives, and someone has taken it over and still make nice knives, and they put a little dot or asterisk above his name to show that it's a knife that they built after his death. So he didn't build it, probably. Okay, he wasn't around. So I appreciate y'all coming by. I realize it's a little bit different. I don't know why I have my ear plugs around handy, but I didn't really need them, did I? Pretty neat. Is that beautiful or what? Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh, hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.